listeners. You are listening to Tea Talk Show. Sit back, relax.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to another episode on My Health, Your Health. I'm Sanusi Rebecca, and I'm really excited to be live on the show this morning once again as we discuss vital things that has to do with our health. And today on the show, we'll be discussing nutrition plan for obesity. We all know that obesity is one of the health challenges that has been faced in Nigeria. Now, overweight is found even amongst young children, amongst adults. Overweight is found everywhere. And today we'll be addressing nutrition plan for obesity. And today with me is nutritionist Miracle Owolabi. He's currently interning at Choices International Foundation, a international foundation that is known to combat burden of malnutrition. I'm so privileged to have him on the show this morning as we discuss this topic together. So, nutritionist Miracle Owolabi, you are welcome to the show this morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Tisilayo. I'm honored to be a part of the show.
Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. All right, sir. So let's discuss what exactly causes obesity. Is it only food? Because most times we talk about food, talk about exercise. Is that the only thing that causes obesity, or there are more to this? Because it's something that it's an health challenge that is majorly faced, like one of the popular health challenge that people are facing. So, what exactly causes obesity?
Okay, thank you. I think to start with, we need to really understand that obesity is a big problem. Like, it is a major problem in today's world. In fact, we could have it as our second pandemic because almost all countries of the world, both developed and developing countries, have obesity as a major health challenge. Even here in Nigeria, we still battle with what we call undernutrition. But here we still have a rising number of overweight and obesity. So what causes obesity? Well, basically, the major thing that causes obesity, or from the definition of obesity, is what is an increase in intake of energy, which energy that we derive from food. So increase in the intake with reduced expenditure. That means things that promote obesity basically are taking in extra energy from your food and spending less, having less physical activity. So obesity surrounds majorly your diet and your lifestyle. That means your physical activity and all. But aside those two, there are other contributing factors to obesity. For instance, we have genetics. Like you could inherit the gene that promotes obesity if your both parents are obese. And apart from that, also environment, medications, and some other contributory factors also causes obesity, but majorly focuses on diet and lifestyle.
Okay. All right. The other time you were talking about obesity being caused by taking extra energy and having less activity, that is in the process of releasing energy and expenditure. Now, does that mean that there's a particular energy level of food that must be taken, that the body needs, that maybe when you you pass that level, then you start adding weight? Like, is there a normal energy calorie that is needed for everyone?
Yeah, okay. The way it goes is that for every individual, every human being, like our energy to carry out activities, apart from even strenuous activities, just to breathe, just to walk and do everything we do, it's a function of the energy we have, and this energy is solely derived from food we take in. Now, the way it works is that our foods are broken down to give us energy to carry out these activities. So think of it in an instance whereby your energy requirement in a day, I'm citing an instance, your energy requirement in a day is 2,000 kilocalories, because energy is measured in kilocalorie.
Yeah.
So imagine your energy expenditure in a day is 2,000 kilocalorie. and you are consuming foods that their total sum of energy is over 3,000 kilocalorie in a day.
Wow.
That means after you use the 2,000 kilocalorie that you need for the day for all your activities, you still have an extra energy that will be on use for that day. And what the body does is to store this excess energy in your body as fat. So an increased deposit of these fats over time accumulate to what we refer to as overweight and obesity, because you are not using this energy and they are stored in your body. But also, apart from that, this can happen if you're taking normal food, like if you're taking your normal so-called LD food.
Wow.
But you are not using energy completely. You can still have, you can still develop obesity, although the risk is lower. But there are some foods that are specifically high in energy. Like the most especially is foods are in the fat and oil category. These foods are referred to as energy dense food because just a little portion of these foods have a very high dose of energy. So if a constant taking in of this kind of meal will promote storing of fat in the body and can lead to obesity.
Okay. I was about asking if there are categories of food that we should avoid, but based on the explanation you gave just now, it's very obvious that consuming a larger percent of fat and oil can actually cause obesity. And even just like you said, even when you are taking your normal food and you are not there's no activity that is releasing those energy out, it can actually Hello everyone, good morning and welcome.
Oh, sorry, I wouldn't want you to take it out of context. Like, energy, fat and oil is not the only thing that causes energy, or it's not necessarily what causes energy. Majorly that leads to obesity rather. We have different categories of foods. We have basically, let's look at food products as the cereals, tubers, fat and oil, the protein giving foods like legumes and the like. All of these foods, every food has a certain portion of energy in it. Like 1 gram of carbohydrates gives you about 4 kilocalorie of energy. And the same goes for protein. But for fat and oil, 1 gram of fat and oil gives you about 9 kilocalorie. So what I'm saying is, in essence, is that if you consume the kind of foods that are in the fat and oil family, they have more energy store. But regardless, even foods that are in the normal carbohydrates group or any other food source, if the demand for the body is met and there's still excess energy over time, it becomes what is referred as obesity. So when we're saying restrict or don't take excess of this, we're not only talking about taking excess of fat and oil, even in the carbohydrate family as well. The caution has to be taken to meet up just with the daily expenditure alone.
All right. Thank you so much for that clarification. So I will need you to, I have another question here. Is there any difference between overweight and obesity? Is it that there's a difference?
Okay. Most times there are some people confuse it or they use it interchangeably, but there's a slight distinction between both. Us as nutrition professional or any health professional, before you can assess or state that someone is obese or overweight, there's a certain criteria we use to measure that. We refer to that as, we use a tool called BMI. BMI means body mass index. So the BMI is a function of your height and weight. It's your weight divided by the square of your height. That means, for instance, if you are 60 kg, that's your weight, and your height is measured in meters. So your height, the square of your height, if perhaps your height is 1.6 meter, so that's 1.6 square. So you divide your weight by the square of your height. That gives you your BMI value. Now, BMI value is placed into category. To be in a normal range, start from about 18.4. That is what is regarded as normal weight. That means if you are less than 18.5, if you are less than 18.5, that means you are underweight. But from 18.5 to 24.9. 24.9, that is regarded as the normal phase of you being in the normal healthy phase. That means you have a good optimal nutritional status. You are not overweight, neither are you underweight. But from 25, that is where overweight starts. If your BMI starts from 25 to 29.9, you are classified as overweight. Then anything beyond 30 is what is regarded as obesity. Although obesity in itself comes with class. Like for instance, 30 to 34.9 is obesity class 1 or grade 1. Then 35 to 39 is class 2 or grade 2 obesity. Then from 40 upwards is classified as grade 3 or what we refer to as morbid obesity, because this, as the level of obesity increases or it gets higher, it becomes more severe or more serious and could affect health or the quality of life. So overweight and obesity, that is the distinction between them, just the level in which they start.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that. So are there nutritional plan for obesity? I would like us to discuss the nutritional plan for people who are obese out there.
Yes, there's of course nutrition. The role of nutrition and dietetics is to support the optimal living of individuals, especially in respect to their diet and health conditions. People that it's very important for the public to understand that obesity is like a risk factor for a lot of things. Like people that are obese, they tend to have other diet-related non-communicable diseases easily. Like if you are obese, the chances of you developing diabetes or hypertension is very high, or other cardiovascular diseases. I mean heart diseases. The chances of you having this is very high if you are obese. So that is why we always have a campaign against obesity. It is not because we are fat phobic or we don't want people to enjoy their life as people normally say, but because we are concerned about the health. Now, for people that are obese, there are nutrition plans for them. Even if you are obese, we are not going to say, oh, don't eat, because most people fall for quacks nowadays. Because everybody calls themselves a nutritionist or dietitian without having any proper or scientific training. They just come up with one or two things to deceive people with meal plans that are not right. But a certified and well-trained nutritionist and dietitian knows planning for an obese patient, because we know that this is a severe condition that, if not managed properly, could result into worse off conditions. Now, moving into what we regarded as nutrition plan for obesity. Like I said earlier, the cause of obesity is majorly from excess energy. So the overall focus of obese patients is to look at how the energy intake will be reduced to accommodate changes in weight loss. Because for you to manage an obese patient, you need to get weight loss. But extra care is also taken here, because we don't subscribe to crashing of weight. What I mean by crashing of weight is for someone that, example, is about 90 kg in weight, and suddenly wants to use some set of things that will just bring the weight down to 60 in less than 2 weeks. It is unrealistic, and it is a very dangerous path. And this is a function of most people that are not trained nutritionists or dietitians, that are just quacks around that carry out these things, or people that indulge in using things they call slimming tea or something like that. For you to bring down your weight, we do have a certain percentage of weight loss, because normally for every individual we have what we call ideal body weight. That means that is the weight you are